Earlier today on my show, The Tree Show, I talked about how the Democrats, the white Democrats, and the black liberals, or the black commies, or the black Democrats, actually have this toxic, dysfunctional relationship, and it seems like both of them are masochistic. And while I was news diving, I came across this article, and I was like, say what? Now, we all know that the Hispanic Latino community has far outpopulated the black community, and it's our fault. And when I say our fault, I'm talking about black folks. Now, those of us who are descendant of slaves, we are a dying breed due to black on black homicides that a lot of black people want to sit up there and ignore and act like it doesn't exist. And if you want to state the FBI statistics that shows that over 96% of blacks are killed by other blacks, they will always come back though, but what about white people? Well, what about white people? Well, what about them? Okay, what about them? Okay, we were actually at 18% of the population, down to 16%, down to 14%, down to 13%, and now we're down to 12.2% of the population. But wait, it gets even better. In that 12.2 population, it also includes black immigrants from other countries, as well as the children of those immigrants. What's going to really rock your mind is what are their percentages versus the percentages of those of us who are descendants of slaves. You will be shook if you found out that we are less than 4%. I'm willing to say 3%, but I'm going to be a little generous. So blacks have no real pull on the left or with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party knows that they can treat you like crap and you will overwhelmingly vote for them. It's like you enjoy being treated like shit, and therefore the Democrats or the demon rats will oblige. So you now saying I'm going to sue this or we're going to do that, it means nothing, because one thing black people are is tribal. For the most part, black people overwhelmingly support Biden more than any other race. That racist ass, poopy pants, dementia-ridden, falling up the stairs, asshole Biden is the racist thing I have ever seen in my. And the thing about it is, you guys call Trump racist, and Biden is actually a legitimate racist. And he called a black senator boy. He called black children roaches. He told you that if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. And every time he talked to a black reporter, he started getting that job talk. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying, Jack? You know, it's so condescending. And black folks, you just ignore it and you just let it fly. And we're not going to talk about that Zoom call where he just basically fussed and yelled and degrade all the black leaders that was in that Zoom call. Hunty, that was so delicious to watch. But anyway, so I'm news diving for my show, The Tree House News, which airs every Monday and Thursday at 8:00 p.m. Please go to my website, treeoflogic.com, to watch it. I have my own chat now and streaming service, so you can go watch it over there. I am not beholden to YouTube no more, so okay. So please go over there and support me by participating in the chat. And if you would like to join my website to get exclusive news like the Treehouse News, as well as other novelty videos, go over there and join. And trust me, you will not regret it. I also now have a 24-hour, 7 days a week news streaming page. So it doesn't matter what time you have. If you're suffering from insomnia, you can go there and can see what's going around the world, as well as local and national news. So no matter what's going on, I have it for you. So let me go ahead and go to this article here. And it is, as you all know, that New York has allowed illegal immigrants to, and regular immigrants, period, to vote in their local elections, and black folks are feeling some kind of way about it. Now, I will tell you, I do know that that law is being challenged by Republicans. And if it is turned over, it could be turned over because of the Republicans, not because of a few representatives from the black community. As I read this article, you'll see what I'm talking about. Black Americans sue New York City for racially discriminatory policies allowing foreign nationals to vote. Now, I read this article and I'm sitting here saying, how is it racially discriminatory? Black folks get to vote. Unless you guys are saying that this is your Jim Crow 2.0. Y'all don't have a leg to stand on. I don't understand how you can say that allowing immigrants from other countries that are here illegally or legally, they're able to vote in our country is racially discriminatory towards you? How, Sway? How does that work? Please explain. Black Americans in New York City, New York, have filed a lawsuit against the city for giving municipal voting rights to nearly 1 million foreign nationals. So, don't get me wrong. I think this is crazy. I don't agree with it, but then New York is just done, dude. It's done. You guys elected Eric Adams, thinking that he's going to do something about the high crime. Black folks, when are y'all going to stop voting for people just because they're black? And this is what you're undoing. I thought you learned all this from Obama. Same thing with you white folks. I thought y'all learned from Obama that just because somebody has a dark hue and they have a D by their name does not mean that they are on your team. A Breitbart News has chronicled Democrats on a 51-member New York City circuit improved a plan last month that allows more than 800,000 foreign nationals with green cards, visas, and work permits the opportunity to vote in a citywide election so long as they have reside in the city for at least 30 consecutive days. Let me make sure you guys can read this, man. Okay, yeah, you can. All right, great. Yeah, dude, this is amazing. Now, for Black Americans and New York City residents, Phyllis Coachman, D. Roy, that is a black name, D. Roy Murdoch, Catherine James, and Anthony Gulhees have filed suit with the help of the Public Interest Legal Foundation, also known as PILF. Their lawsuit accuses the city of Board of Election of violating the 15th Amendment. But how is this? How is allowing immigrants violating your 15th Amendment? This is crazy. Don't get me wrong. I think it's stupid. You shouldn't allow it, but you voted for this. Now you're salty, honey. This is what happens when you're blindly loyal because somebody has a deed that by your name when they're running for office. The 15th Amendment, by imposing a racially discriminatory policy that is set to drastically dilute the voting power of American citizens in New York City, and specifically of Black Americans. You guys are not the majority in New York City. What's wrong with you? This ain't Baltimore. You're not the majority, so how does that dilute your vote? You are still the minority. You are, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't looked at the racial demographics in New York. But I'll probably look at it after this video. But I do believe that the Latino, Hispanic outpopulate you. And I do believe white people outpopulate you. I think the only race of people who don't outpopulate blacks are Asians. So, Anyway, all of the relevant indicia demonstrates that a racially discriminatory purpose was a motivating factor in the passage of the Foreign Citizens Voting Bill. The lawsuit states, the New York City Council was aware of the discriminatory impact that the Foreign Citizens Voting Bill would have on the voting strength of black voters. You have no strength! You're going to loyally vote Democrats no matter what. You are still underneath the LBJ curse, fools. Here, it's amazing. There's an approval rating for Biden, and black people are the only race who have the highest approval rating for Biden. No matter what they do to you, no matter how many broken promises they make to you, you will still blindly vote for Democrats. It doesn't make no sense. So now you want to sit up here and act like you got power? You don't have any power. They're not going to cater to you because let's say, for instance, black folks, all of y'all was on code. That's never going to happen, but let's pretend. You don't have the numbers to make a difference. Now, if the Latino community decided to get on code and say, you either do what we want you to do or we're not going to vote, trust me, the politicians will do a bunch of buck dancing and break dancing just to appease their every demand because they know that they have the power. Understand that the Latino Hispanic community is growing because you fools did not care about Biden putting an executive order on the wall to stop the construction of the wall. You're sitting there talking about something. We need to have open borders. Well, guess what, Negroes? You got your open borders, and all of these people are about to outpopulate you and tell you what to do. You have no power. If you were not joining everybody else, unfortunately, you think everybody on the right is racist, and that's your undoing, and you're going to suffer the consequences for that. But because you refuse to join conservatives and right-wingers about the fact that he refused to finish the construction of that wall, and he's allowing all of the illegal immigrants to come in there, except the ones from Haiti. He sends them back to Haiti. Okay? He sends them back. Well, not all of them. He did allow some of them to come up in here because they're going to be replacing you Negroes, okay? But the fact is, if you did not care, why do you care now? Because guess what? They love New York. Because New York is a shithole, and New York reminds them of their home that they left, leaving one shithole for a better shithole. So how do you guys think that you have a leg to stand on to make a demand? Child, bye, okay? Let's see. These concerns were raised by the city council members. Despite the discriminatory impact of the knowledge that the New York City Council was without legal authority to grant foreign citizens the right to vote, the council moved forward and passed the bill. Well, the Republicans, the one y'all think is racist and their white supreme pieces, yeah, they have already filed that said that this is unconstitutional, and it is. But New York is done. There's no saving you guys. I don't care what happened, but this is what happens when you vote for people just because they have a D by their name. And like I said, y'all so territorial, you're so tribal that you thought that this black man who used to be a police officer is going to save your black ass from being killed by somebody with your same hue, with your same skin tone. Okay, the lawsuit cites the United States Census Bureau data, which shows how the policy will shift voting power from New York City's dwindling Black American populations towards becoming foreign-born population. Well, you still don't have more power than the Latino community. This is what you guys don't understand. So I guess you don't want to come behind Latino and the immigrants, and then you. The sponsors of the bill are aware of the racial composition and passed the bill with the intent to strengthen the power of the Hispanic and Asian power and reduce the power of other racial groups. No, you don't have I don't understand. Tell me one thing Obama did for the black community. Please tell me one. Just one. One thing he did exclusively for black folks. You guys voted that clown into office not once but twice. What'd he do for you, black folks? Huh? I can tell you what he did for the Muslims. I can tell what he did for the LGBT community. But what did he do for you? Nothing. And please don't say Obama phones, because everybody of any race could get an Obama phone. So I'm just saying, like, you guys do not understand that these ain't the 60s anymore. You don't have that type of power and influence to get the Democrats to do your bidding anymore. And it's your fault. I mean, not understanding that we are our worst. When I say we, I'm talking about black people are our worst enemies, and you still allow these racist white liberals to cuddle you and to make excuses for you when you make stupid decisions that go against your best interests. All right, you want to sit up here and say, "Oh, Tree, why you are right wing? You're going against your best interests, nigga. You're the one killing each other, getting all these abortions, which I'm okay with. I'm not against the abortions. Watermelon, okay, Letitia, get your abortions, girl. Okay, the less of you goddamn carjackers on the street, the better. All right, but the thing about it is that you guys are self-destructive and nobody's calling you on your shit and making you accountable. They are okay with you having fuckery amok, and they're not holding you accountable. And if you raise a child like that, they are doomed to failure. And that is what's going on with the black community. No matter what y'all do, no matter how y'all break the laws, you fight against the police, it's always Whitey's fault. It's never your fault. You'll never take accountability for any fucking thing you ever do. And now you want to sit up here and act salty because nobody gives a fuck about your goddamn demands. Now, I did not mean to go on that rant. The sponsor of okay, I read that part already. Councilman Reverend Ruben Diaz, who's a demon rat out of the Bronx, has warned that the policy would dilute the votes of his city citizens while shifting electoral power to foreign nationals with ties to the United Nations, Wall Street, and the global financial system. This is the second lawsuit to drop against the policy. Last month, the New York State Republican Party nationalized American citizens, and a Democratic city councilman filed a lawsuit against New York City, alleging the policy is in violation of the state's Constitution. In conclusion, I don't understand why you all filed this lawsuit. So here is my prediction. You won't win. You won't win. It will be dismissed, and everybody will still go on as if you don't exist. You have no power because you don't. Now, your saving grace is hoping that the Republicans have this overturned, because they do have a leg to stand on. They are not filing for racial discriminatory practices that you can't even prove that. This is not, your vote is already diluted because you are not the majority. You don't hold the majority population in New York City. You just don't. No. Not only, you just don't have it. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. As a matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to see if that's the case. Hold on for a second. Okay, so I researched the racial demographics of New York City, and this is what it says. You have white alone, okay, and they make up, just white people alone, and that's 42.7% of the population of New York City. Black and African Americans make up 24.3% of the population in New York City. Hispanic and Latinos make up 29.1% of New York City. So you have way more, well, not way more, but you have more more Hispanic Latinos than black. And then you have white alone, not Hispanic or Latinos, make up 32%. So this is what always confuses me in reference to the census. Do they mean white that are Hispanic? And then that's 42%? And then you just have regular Hispanics? I don't know. This is the part that always confuses me, because you have white Hispanics, but you also have and Latinos. You have biracials here. But either way, I always know that Asians are the minority. So of course, Asians are always behind in the population of blacks. But as you can see, this is the reason is when it comes to a minority besides Asians, no, the Hispanics are going to be more than you. Even when it comes to white Hispanics as well as non-white Hispanics, there are more of them than you. I don't understand what you guys think you're going to achieve by this, but also let's understand that even though it's 24% blacks, many of you all don't vote. And I'm not going to go get those demographics either, because there is a good percentage of blacks in these blue cities who just don't vote. So why do they need to cater to you? Even if you all did vote, you have taught the demon rats that they could treat you any kind of way, and that you can make broken promises, and that you're not going to hold them accountable for the broken promises that they make for you, because you guys will loyally vote Democrat no matter what. But anyway, let me go back to the article. I thought this was interesting. I decided to make a video about it. And so, yeah, just to get on the record that this lawsuit is not going to make a dent. It's going to do nothing. Now, you better hope that the Republicans are able to win their case so they can stop immigrants, illegal as well as legal, from voting in New York. But like I said, New York is just done. There's some new gerrymandering that had happened there that's going to even make the state of New York even more red. But let me know what you think about this video by leaving a comment below. Also, please go to my website, treeoflogic.com, bookmark it, and whenever I live stream, go over there and participate in my nice snazzy chat. We will love to have you over there and join my community. This is Tree from treeoflogic.com, and I'll talk to you all next time. Later, taters.